Cula, and today we'll be talking about Bessel Child and Adult Psychiatric Foundation and their charity work that they are doing in Ghana and in the UK.
That's right.
I have with me 3 members from Bessel. I've got Stella Nutakor.
That's right.
Who is part of the Bessel team.
Yes.
Yes, and Cindy Dickson and Jacqui, Obeng.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe if you want to say anything, introduce yourself as well, and say in terms of your background. I think that will help in terms of our viewers and you know.
My name is Stella Nutakor. I'm a mental health professional. I'm the founder of Bessel Child and Adult Psychiatric Foundation, which is a registered charity in both UK and in Ghana.
Thank you.
So I'm Cindy Dickson. I'm a psychotherapist. I've been practicing since 2008. I have my own private practice, and one of the models that I studied was mental health.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Obeng, and I'm a teacher of economics and business studies at grammar school. I've been working with children for over 10 years now. Good evening.
Mental health is a major problem in our community. It affects all sort of different people, and the way mental health is also been seen in Africa, you know, is kind of different. There is secrecy, you know, trust issues, you know, people are reluctant to seek for support, and even when the support is there, many people feel that it's not enough from the government. So we feel that you have come up with a great idea of forming Bessel, and you want the community to know the good things you are doing or what you intend to do in the UK. I understand you started the Ghana process already. Can you tell us what led you to open Bessel Child and Adult Psychiatric Foundation?
Right. Being a mental health professional, I'm very passionate about mental illness, and I'm passionate about the help that people get, especially when they're suffering from any form of mental illness. I'll use myself for an example. When I was married 10 years, I couldn't have a child. I was so desperate for a child, and finally when I got pregnant, I became so paranoid. Anybody coming near me, I felt they were going to take my child away. So I just locked myself in the room. The whole year I didn't go to work until I delivered my child. And as soon as the baby was delivered, all the paranoia went, just to find out that it was hormonal imbalance. I didn't realize. I hear about postnatal, support people with postnatal depression until I experienced it, and I thought, oh wow, that is what this mental illness is about. I had the feel of it. I became so passionate about it, and I extended it to wanting to help people, especially in Ghana. We went to Ghana to visit the mental health hospitals in Ghana, and when we went there,
what year was it that you went to Ghana?
It started from 2008.
2008.
And we just going there to give. I belong to a club called Golden Club of London. So I used to go there to give donations from the club.
Okay.
So we just keep going there just to give handout, donation, Christmas parties, etc. So in 2016.
Hold on. The handouts you was going out to give, was it for people with mental health problems or just to the community?
It was in the psychiatric hospital. We started off with Asylum Down Psychiatric Hospital. Okay. Then it went to Cape Coast Sankafo Hospital. We decided to do a bit more than just handouts, and we were told that we couldn't do that unless it's a registered charity. Okay. So hence we had to register the charity, Bessel, the best and to tell the story. So that's how we came up with the name.
And since you've been to Ghana, have you making impact? You feel that you're making a difference?
Right. Once we decided to start supporting mental health in Ghana, we came to UK and we said, look, to our colleagues, we need to do this. Ghanaians need help because the people with mental health problem in Ghana, they don't have no hope. And then we found out that a lot of people are being chained in churches for no reason, basically because they don't know how to manage them. Okay, so we came to speak to our colleagues here and said, look, can you come and help us to help our country? And we had an amazing consultant psychiatrist called Dr. Attard from Scotland, and then pharmacist called Aziz from New Zealand, and few other professionals. they went with us to Ghana, and we've been going to Ghana since to raise mental health awareness in the country.
So when you go to Ghana, which part of Ghana do you normally go?
We did awareness. We've done some in Accra. We've done some in Cape Coast. And then October coming, we're going again to work with Kofi Teaching Hospital to raise awareness in Kumasi this time round.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you have a team of specialists and volunteers that help you. Do you also have volunteers from Ghana?
We do have volunteers from Ghana. We've got we went to Ghana in April because Bestel, we want to build the first mental health recovery hospital in West Africa, situated in Kumasi. So when we decided to do that, the first person we needed to see was the owner of the land, which is Otumfuo himself.
Okay.
And by God's grace, we met with Otumfuo in February, and he just embraced the project.
Okay.
And agreed for us to bring this amazing project to Kumasi, and directed for a committee to be formed so that we can proceed to build the first mental health recovery hospital in West Africa, situated in Kumasi, so we can have the same standard that we have in the UK up in Ghana, in Kumasi. So that is the long-term plan.
Yeah, I think it's good because in a sense that, I mean, our community needs things like this, Cindy, and also Jacqueline, that we have young people in Africa or older people who are experiencing difficulties, and the secrecy of mental health there. So what are some of the causes of this that lead people to have mental health problems?
So first of all, obviously in the African and Afro-Caribbean culture, there's this thing about a stigma. So when people have mental health, first of all, they are afraid to say it because they think they'll be labeled. But some of the causes why people actually suffer from mental health is to do with maybe a traumatic childhood. So they might have a traumatic childhood experience which could probably involve physical or sexual abuse or even neglect. So what happens is, as a result of this, they suffer from mood swings. Basically, they are tired, they are sad, they're always crying. They kind of seclude themselves from people. So these are some of the symptoms that you see, but the results of this is sometimes childhood, but also life experiences. Because if you think about the poverty-stricken countries, there's war. You know, war will bring depression. War will bring anxiety. War will bring bipolar. War will bring schizophrenia. So all of these things also as a result of the climate or the country that you live in. So these are things. But what happens is when people suffer from mental health is actually an illness. So people need to remember that it's not something that you hide away, but it's something that you need to deal with. So even what Stella has just talked about right now, as a community in Africa, Afro-Caribbean, we need to try and support each other. But also, first of all, we need to raise awareness of what mental health is about, how important it is to deal with it, and secondly, come together. If we have to finance things as a group, let's do some funding, fundraising, build this hospital that Stella's just talked about, not only in Ghana. I can tell you something. So what's the Ghana population? About 28.83 million?
Yeah, call it under 30 million, but close to 30
so
million.
About that. I was reading an article from the World Health Organization, and there's 18 qualified psychiatrists in Ghana. How can that be? In Nigeria, 200 million. They have 130 psychiatrists.
I think Ghana have a little, now it has improved. I think 2014. The article was 2014, 2015. Oh yeah, you see.
So so basically it couldn't have risen that much though. This is what I'm saying. Yes. So the proportion of psychiatrists to the population is not.
We have also mentioned these things to the government in terms of encouraging people to take that area of work.
Yes.
Because many professionals or many people don't want to go into that profession.
Yes.
They feel that it's not an area of interest to them.
Because it's a stigma.
Yes.
First of all, to suffer from mental health is a stigma. So like you were saying, people are chained. You know, it came on the news the other day where in a refugee camp they found someone who was chained because he had mental health. And I went to Ghana about a week ago and I saw 3 people wandering the streets naked. How did they get there?
Yes.
There must have been something we could have done to stop them wandering the streets.
This even will deter people from tourism, going to the country and other things. I mean, is that there is more, some of the causes is more domestic violence, parental domestic violence.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So maybe you can talk about more of the causes.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of young people, there's peer pressure, there's anxiety, there's eating disorders, there's anger, stress. Little kids get depressed in terms of ADHD, all these little disruptions in the classroom. So our aim here, as Cindy said, is to bring awareness to the community so the parents can identify these symptoms and they can tackle it as soon as possible, actually. So basically, identifying these symptoms and how to deal with it, really. That's the aim. And therefore, the Stella is ignorating the foundation to the community, so that we're like bringing it out to both adults and young people, because obviously mental health deals with both the adults and the young people, so they're educated about what it is. Because our community, they hear mental health and they think, oh, it's a stigma, I don't want to know about it. But it's a little thing like stress, it's a little thing like panic attack. These kids suffer from exam stress, and therefore coming to this fun day, they'll be having these communications with these professionals, and they can highlight all these issues.
Yes, and there is also biological factors, where people may, because as a result of one reason or another, maybe develop mental health problems because of that. And also people living in a stressful situation for a long period,
Working in the hospital and working on the wards sometimes, we see a lot of people from the Black and Afro-Caribbean background coming in into hospital. There's no middle grounds between when somebody is becoming unwell. Firstly, there's a stigma, which makes people hide from actually seeking for help. Then the first point of contact is go to a GP. That's why we set out this charity, so people who have been the first point of contact, people can come to us and we'll see if we can support them before it gets to the stage where it has to go to the GP in the secondary sector, which is the hospitals. So we want to, as much as possible, try and avoid people ending up in hospital if we can, by supporting, having a middle ground where people can come in and talk about their problems. There's a lot of bereavement happening these days. People are losing their loved ones. It's difficult for them to deal with it.
Yes.
There's separations. Parents are getting separated.
Yes.
Children are getting frustrated because of.
Do you think that most parents knows what to do with their children when separation happens and the emotional side? Do they only think of themselves, or as parents, and then prioritize their own needs over the children and ignoring the children's needs?
Yeah, I don't think it's about prioritizing their own needs. I think it's about, again, the self-awareness, knowing the symptoms. So if your child says to you, oh, I don't want to go out, and I'm feeling tired and I'm getting confused, I can't concentrate, and I don't want to play with my friends, and keeps crying all the time.
That's it.
You think to yourself, this is not my child. What is going on? Right. So like Stella said, you take that child to the GP.
Yeah.
There's a mental health community support groups in this country that will help them. So I think more the self-awareness for the parents, what to look out for, what the signs are, how best to help that child. And not just to say, oh, she's probably having a bad day, or it's because of the exams, they're crying all the time. No. Sometimes the kids themselves don't know what the problem is. Yeah. So if you as a mother highlight or identify something different in your child, it's down to you to go and see the GP about it. Yeah. So I don't think it's about the parent not prioritizing, but I think it's more about the self-awareness for the parent. Self-awareness.
And also, there's a number of factors that could lead the children experiencing. Do you feel that exam pressures comes in? Oh, absolutely. Their social life, friendship group, and with young people with antisocial behavior, and with the knife and gun crime effect. Is this all part of the work that you'll be looking at?
Absolutely. What we realize is a lot of children. My son's friends, they've been telling me that they're on the streets and people are approaching them to be part of their gangs. When they get this offers, I'll say they don't know what to do, how to handle it. So the day that we're having a family fun day, we're going to have a hall specifically for the children, where we're going to be addressing these sorts of issues. And Jacqui will talk a bit more about that.
Yeah. So about the fun day. So the fun day is designed as having 2 huge halls at Tottenham. It's at the Gladesmore Community School in the Crowland Road, N15 6EB. So it's a fun day from 11 to 8 p.m. at night. There will be 2 huge halls, 1 DJ for the main hall, and then there will be a number of guest speakers. So these speakers, including therapists, there's doctors, there's pharmacists, etc. Loads of professionals are going to be there, including some teachers as well. So there will be a talk about mental health, educating everybody there. And then after the presentation, there will be sword talks in stalls. So we'll be going round to tables to check, you know, all these examples that have been demonstrated. Do you feel that, you know, there's anything you want to talk about? So there we'll be going round and discussing. All this will be in the adult hall. Then there'll be a dinner and dance. After that, obviously, people will be socializing and you'll be acknowledging what's going on there. In the kids' hall, there will be another DJ there playing young people. We've got young artists like the Grime Stars, a couple of people we're trying to book there. Again, there will be candy floss machines, popcorn machines, typical fun day. Again, the teachers will be there. We'll have a presentation to highlight the reasons why we're here, what issues do they come across, are they having problems with dealing with, you know, other their peers, any pressures, any stress at school or at home. That talk will also be happening in that hall. And again, some professionals will be hanging around there. So it's a really fun day for both parents and children to be there to bond and obviously highlight the foundation and the main purpose of the whole event. Tickets are £10 for young people and the adults are £20. At the moment, we're selling it on eventbrite.co.uk, and we've got some tickets at the door as well if people want to come there and purchase it. It'll be a good fun day for everybody to attend, mainly for us to address the awareness of mental health.
And what I'd like to add to that is that, yes, it's a ticketed event. However, those who are not in the position to purchase a ticket, don't feel left out. Please come. We've got some complimentary tickets that we'll be more than happy to give out to those who are unable to purchase tickets on the day.
If someone wants a ticket, how do they get a ticket? Do you have a number that they can call to buy the ticket, and what do you do?
We've got the tickets on Eventbrite.
Because I will let you go on. I mean, in our community, just like how we're talking about this issue, you know, someone who may be experiencing mental health issues, you know, or maybe kind of a stressful issue, they prefer maybe even to pay cash or to buy it from a place. And some may want, you know, to call, and maybe you'll find a way to deliver them. I think Eventbrite will help maybe families or people who are maybe well organized and may want to do that. What if somebody wants a ticket but don't want to go through that process? You know, so if someone wants a ticket and they don't want to go through the Eventbrite process, then they can call 0750-802-6641, 0750-802-6641, or they can call Hilda on 07578-531-710, and the first number is Stella, which is 0750-802-6661. I mean, I think you're doing a very great job in terms of working or trying to work with people who may be experiencing these difficulties. As you are aware, mental health issue is a very great area for our community, whereby even it has led to the death of many in our community, and we take it very seriously in terms of work. And I think that this is an area of work that we as a community want you to kind of get this support going. What are some of your strategies in place in terms of working with people? Or before you go into strategies, let's talk about confidentiality. The reason why I'm talking about confidentiality is that in many cases, the secrecy, a lot of people don't want to come out because of these things. You know, they are reluctant to seek for help. They don't want Mr. A or Mr. B or Mrs. A or Miss B to know about what they are doing. They don't. And do you have that kind of policy within your organization?
You see,
what assurances is in place for
the thing is,
people?
You can never assure confidentiality. Like we say in counseling, if someone discloses something to you where they're going to harm themselves or someone else, then you would have to disclose it.
Yes.
However, if even when we are doing the fun day, people come, I'm happy to speak to people, parents, even to maybe the children, and as long as they're just sharing with me their thoughts, feelings, behaviors, that I'm sure you can never guarantee confidentiality, because especially with children as well, if it's something where you have to refer to the parents, then you have to do that. So it's slightly different with children, where with adults, again, it's different. So if I do speak to an adult on the day and they disclose stuff to me about how they're thinking or what they're feeling, that's fine. We can keep that confidential. But if a child speaks to me, that's a different scenario.
Yeah.
So we can't guarantee confidentiality.
However, we assure parents that this will help the children and family to live independently and happily in terms of support.
Definitely.
Okay. I'm saying this because of the misconception about certain diagnoses, what certain diagnoses mean, in terms of mental health, due to this stigma and stereotypical views of people who don't seem to have an understanding of mental health. This is why I'm saying this, because due to the stigma, a lot of people are very reluctant to come out. However, you are assuring them that if they come out, your organization is there, you will work with them. You want to continue?
Yes. All of us, all the staff that work in Bristol Child and Adult Psychiatry Foundation and the volunteers, we've all signed a non-disclosure agreement, and which means that we maintain people's information as confidential information, and we will not be sharing it unless absolutely, as Cindy said, is detrimental to their health, and then that's by law we have to disclose. But it's just like working in the hospital, going to the hospital and seeking support. We follow the same principle and guidelines as the NHS has set out today. So although we are a different entity, non-governmental organization, we follow the protocol and the guidelines of the NHS of UK.
Okay, thank you. So can we talk about some of the interventions that you have or strategies that you have to help them? I understand you have some specialist workers who will be working with people who may contact or make a referral for your and do you only take referrals from individuals directly, or you also work with children's services and other organizations who may also be experiencing difficulties with mental health?
Right. At the moment, what we've got support groups, monthly support groups. One in Hackney every third Sunday of the month, and we're hoping to open one in South London, Methodist Church in the Walworth Road, every first Sunday of the month. We urge people to come to the support group so we can put our heads together and do what the people want. We need to plan together. It's very important that when you're setting up a support group, you don't impose on the people. You sit together and plan and agree on what will work for them. So we work in unity. So the support group is set up, and we need to meet up and then plan how we want the service. It's a new service that we started the Hackney one for about 6 months now.
And how has that been progressing?
It's been going very, very well, actually. So it's going very well. It's in Kingsmead Community Centre in Hackney, and we've got a lot of, especially carers. A lot of the parents have been coming in, struggling to support their, their children. And then they come in for support, difficulty that they may have, and not understanding the medication that their children is being prescribed, and the side effects and the effects of the medication. So there was one session that they requested about medication. We got the pharmacist to come in and talk about medication. If they said that they want to know about, let's say hearing voices, for instance, the consultant psychiatrist will come in and work on that particular topic. So as a group, they'll say what they want to, the lecture to be on that month, and then we'll get the professionals to come in to educate. However, if somebody's got any problems, emotional problems or well-being problems that they need support with, and they call us to say, can you help us? We'll be more than happy to make time to meet them, but we encourage people to come to the support group. As you know, it's a charity that we set up, but we all have our full-time job that we do, and the charity is done on the Sunday, so people have to make time to come to the support group to access the services. Outside of that support group, at the moment, we haven't got the capacity to do that. Maybe in future we will be able to. For now, it's only limited to the Sunday support groups.
Many people will be wondering if they have to pay for these services, or is the services free? What is going on? Because someone might be at home, they may have a young person who may be challenging them. They are a bit reluctant to see their GP, they don't know what to do, and maybe your service could provide a service for them. Okay. So in that case, are they paying for the service? Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Right. The service is free. We are volunteers who love mental health, who love to help our community, who set ourselves out to help our community. So it's a free service. However, anybody who wants to give us some donation to support the charity will be more than happy to accept that, because we need to get funds to run the project. But at the moment, we are the official members of Stella and some of the volunteers, we are funding it from our own pockets. And we've been doing so for the past 3 years. Okay. We've got no funding from nowhere, but we're still determined to keep going and help the community.
Wow, that is very good. It's amazing in terms of that, because in terms of Ghana, it's the same situation that you have to fund yourself there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've been supporting yourself. Yeah. And helping the community. So you are not only working in the UK here, you also working in Africa, Ghana, which is in West Africa. And have you been there, Cindy?
Yeah. Yeah, I just came back from Ghana.
Oh yeah, you just came back. Yeah. So what was your experience in terms of your work and your experience?
She just came back, actually.
Yes.
I think mental health has always been on my heart, especially when I go to Ghana and I come back and I just think to myself, and I've got friends who are psychologists and stuff, but there's not a lot of psychologists and not a lot of counsellors out there, and that's always been a concern to me. And I read another article, I read lots of articles, where it was to do with Asylum Down and the fact of how the patients were treated, and even the nurses were taking their drugs and taking them off and selling them, So I think what happens is people don't actually respect them because they've got mental health, so they don't treat them well, and that's not right.
So you feel that the system abusing the people with mental health?
Oh yes, because when you have mental health, it's like it's a stigma.
Yes.
It's like, they label you as crazy already.
But in this country, as you are aware, the government works so well. We have community mental health team and other teams that support is in place.
Oh, absolutely.
And when in Ghana, the situation from your observation is different. And this is where Stella comes in to help people who may have families or who may be experiencing that. So your own experience, what sort of days were you working for? How long were you there, and in terms of the hours of working, like the days,
So actually, I was there for 8 days, but years back, because my dad's a doctor, and years back he's got a friend who owned Valley View Clinic. Okay. So that's kind of a counselling clinic, and people come from all different countries. And so I went to work there for a short while, and again I met a lot of people there, and they shared their experiences, and that was a good place to be, because he'd set up something really good. So we had more places like that for people to go, because people are coming from different countries to come. You come and stay, you get psychiatric treatment for like a week, 2 weeks, you pay for it, but you still get good treatment. Okay. And symptoms are identified, diagnosed, medicated, and therapy. There were therapists there, there were counsellors there, so it was just such a great setup.
Our audience want to know, someone is saying that, what are some of the challenges that you face in Ghana?
In Ghana?
Yeah. Yes, because you also working in Ghana as well.
Yeah, we went to Ghana with the mental health professionals from here, and then we went to the hospitals to give teaching sessions to the staff about risk assessments, about how to actually the standard of care, improve the standard of care for the patients in Ghana. We started off working with Anchorful Psychiatric Hospital, and the Ghana government does not spend enough money on mental health, and we've been working very closely with the mental health authorities to address and try to improve that. Royal College of Psychiatrists in this UK, we have approached them, and they have come on board and agreed to come and work with Ghana Mental Health to rotate the doctors to the psychiatric hospitals in Ghana to support us. I went to Ghana in February with my colleague from Stella.
Hold on, the Royal College here
of
Psychiatric would like to help, or they have volunteered to kind of support.
Dr. Attard, who is the consultant working with Stella Foundation, approached the Royal College of Psychiatrists to let them know that in Ghana we've got very limited psychiatry there.
Yes.
So when the doctors are rotating, is it possible for them to come and rotate in Ghana so they can support us? So we went to Ghana in February to see the Minister of Health and the Mental Health Authority to sign something called MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the Royal College of Psychiatrists, so they can start rotating their doctors in Ghana officially to help us.
When you say rotating, someone might want to know more about that. What is rotating?
Right, rotating, basically, we Stella, we can't work with the whole of Ghana, so we're working with Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, and they've only got a small ward, 2 wards for the psychiatric department. So the long-term plan is to, the short-term plan is to renovate that ward to UK standard, and then the doctors that Royal College of Psychiatrists will allocate to us, they will go to Konfanochi Hospital maybe a year at a time, 6 months at a time, to work on the hospital, and then we the nurses, we have all volunteered to actually go and work on the wards to support Konfanochi psychiatric team to raise that standard of care for the patient, and that is a test case to show what the future psychiatric hospital that we want to build is going to look like. So we've also, the project has been embraced by South London and Mosley NHS Foundation Trust. And we are in the process of signing a memorandum of understanding with them so that they can also come on board to support Ghana Mental Health. One of the things that we really lack in Ghana Mental Health is something that is called control and restraint. When a patient becomes aggressive, how to safely restrain the patient. Because we don't have that skills, we do it the way you feel that you need to do it, which, you know, it put the patient at risk and it put the staff at risk. We investigated to find out how much that training will cost, and it's over £200,000 to take that training to Ghana. So we're hoping that, you know, working in collaboration with other NHS trusts here in the UK, we'll be able to get that service to Ghana at some point, where the staff will be trained on how to effectively restrain a patient without causing any injury for the staff and the patient.
I think the Ghana community and the government should take note of this, because I think you're doing a very great job. Even the fact that your Royal College of Psychiatrists is involved, and the way you're saying it, that means in terms of training and development of nurses or doctors who will be caring for people with mental health, they're going to be working with them and training, helping the subject.
The Ghana government have to come, it works hand in hand. They are coming to bring their services, so coming to the country, Ghana government needs to embrace them with accommodation.
Of course.
Their necessities. That is what it is about.
Those basics.
Whether that is going to come in play, we don't know. But we as Stella, working with Konfanochi Hospital, we will find ways and means to raise our fund to make sure that the doctors and nurses coming to work in Konfanochi Hospital is well taken care of and well looked after, so they'll keep coming.
Yeah. And that's the aim of this inauguration.
I think
need to start from somewhere.
That's very good. If you experience any difficulties, I think this is an area that the community want to see. I think the number of people with mental health problems in Ghana is over 650,000. I mean, and the number of staff there to care for them, and in terms of families understanding, you know, family values and understanding of mental health is very limited.
Of course.
So it's an area that we lack and that we need a kind of support, and many doctors don't want to go into that area of work, you know, because they feel that it's not what they're looking for. I think all the challenges is there, and today, from what I've heard, it's like you are very determined to work in this area of work to make that positive change, you know, for
community.
For the community.
It will not take a day or two. It is a progressive steps, if you like. It's a long journey, but we're hoping that in the long term we'll have the same standard of care mental health has has in this country, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have it. You know, we should be able to, you know, live, to have mental illness and live as, you know, everybody else and be comfortable. In Ghana, mental health is supposed to be free, but in Ghana, people are not able to access the services because they don't have money to pay.
Yes.
So, like our charity, that is, you see, the beauty about Kumasi. I'm not from Kumasi, by the way. So
yes.
Nobody should think that I'm advocating for Kumasi because I'm from Kumasi. When we
just to make up, where can you tell people where you are from? Because
it's very naughty,
yes, because yes,
I knew he was
our
going to
viewers want to know. Our viewers want to know.
I am Fanti. I am Fanti from Cape Coast. Actually, I would love to take this project to Anchorful.
Yes.
However, Kumasi.
So there are no politics involved here.
No. There is no mental health hospital in Kumasi. And yes, when we went to Ghana to start this project, we went to every organization to look for funding, and everybody turned us down. Nobody helped us. There is about 4 companies that came on board. One Mr. Sechere, one Mr. Fosu. The Goyle did very well. They gave us petrol to be able to go and do our work. A young man from Living Room Restaurant, he also supported us. So there's few people that supported that, and they were from Kumasi. And I thought, wow, these are the people who want to embrace the project. So that gave us the indication that, you know, they are interested in having a project. And on top of that, there is no mental health hospital in Kumasi. So when we went to see Otumfuo, and it was lovely meeting Otumfuo himself.
Yes, Otumfuo Osetutu the second. Yes, okay.
We went to see him, and we just told him the amazing project that we have, and he just embraced it, and he said, form a committee, and then you know, let's think about giving the acres of land that they need to get the project going. However, we will need money to develop it, and we need to raise funds somehow to be able to do that.
I think that a lot have been said about Otumfuo Nana Osei Tutu II. And I think that we have to also use your organization needs to use this opportunity to thank him for what he has done, for giving you that land. And it's a good place, you said, in the land, you know, it's not a place that, and I think that this shows the intention of how Otumfuo and others may want to support, and so you also urge the churches and other communities, you know, both the Christian community and the Muslim community, to kind of support your project and make that difference.
What we need to know, that mental illness can happen to you, can happen to me. It can happen to anybody, anytime in their lives. You don't have control over it. Even if you have not experienced mental health problems, maybe your mother or your grandmother or somebody in your family, by all means, may have you know, experienced it. You know, there's people, companies going down, people are losing money. Recently there was Men's Gold. A lot of people lost money. The people, they need help. You know, they are going through a lot of stressful situations.
And trauma.
It can happen to anybody. We thank Otumfuo you know, for dedicating his time to give out the time, you know, to come and see him, to present our project. Not everybody gets it like that.
Okay, thank you for that part. Now, our viewers, we want to thank you. I will come back to you for Bessel, for what they are doing in terms of their great work that they're doing. This program is sponsored by Omega House. Omega House sponsor Omega Live TV, and Omega House do a lot of things, including flyers, posters, you know, brochures, booklets, and if you are doing a funeral or if you're doing parties and you need video or photographs, or you need invitation cards, greeting cards, you know, if you want complimentary cards to be done for you and other things, you know, we do everything here. And if you want to contact us, our number is 0208 520 3359. 0208 520 3359. It seems like it's a very good project, and I will say thank you again to Otumfuo Nana Osei Tutu II for his work. Now we have talked a bit about Ghana. Now let's talk in this country as well, because your work now, you are kind of going to do integration, and in terms of this country, promoting it here you know, and working with children and families who may be experiencing emotional difficulties, you term it, you know, and we have discussed some of the emotional difficulties. Now, if a parent is experiencing difficulty, for instance, for their children who may be engaging or involved in antisocial behavior, not listening, they find it difficult to manage them, can they come to your organization?
Yes, of course they can. On the 26th of May, the inauguration days, will give all the details of where our support groups are, and then also you meet all the professionals and everybody involved in the organization. You meet them, and then you have their contact details where you can contact them as required. So this is a free service, and please come to the inauguration to be able to access this free service.
So this
in addition as well, with the support groups, sometimes if there's no professionals, obviously teachers are professionals and nurses are professionals, but then if the doctors or the psychologists are not there, there's something called talking therapies. So we can align all the parents and kids there in one room, and we can communicate and find out how their day is going, any difficulties, then obviously we can talk about that. So it's not per se that every single session there will be, you know, a professional there. And again, it's free of charge. And mental health is about highlighting your issues and trashing it out, really. So it's not necessarily coming to, you know, prescribe a medication for you. So there shouldn't be any fear of medication.
We're not doing prescription.
We can't be doing prescription as support group.
But so if you feel that someone will benefit from a further assessment also, then you will refer them. You will signpost.
Absolutely. And then the situation where people are having maybe marital breakdown, they're having problems with social services, threatening to take their children. When they come, we'll support them and, you know, sample them to the appropriate services. Where
Hold on. Social services don't threaten people to take their children. They support children and families.
Of course.
However, you know, in terms people may interpret it differently, but the main work is that children's services support, you know, children and families, you know, to live independently. And I think that your organization can work with children's services as well to kind of help the community.
Do, but our community think they're there to take their children away. So we'll have that
assurances, and
that it's not about that. Even if you've got a problem in the house and a social service is being called in, it doesn't mean that they're taking the child from you. It's about, as you said, working hand in hand with the parent to accommodate the child's needs.
And then don't forget also that in our community, maybe there may be some people with limited English
language barriers.
Language barrier. So we can sort of like support them, you know, good, if possible, and if we are able to, we can support them when they've got their ward rounds or they've got their meetings with these professionals. So we can support them with that, or you know, sample them to where they could get the appropriate support.
So what you are saying, Cindy want to say something.
I just want to say, am I right in saying, so if someone obviously comes to Bestel, has an issue, comes to the support group, and then there's long-term treatment needed, then they might have to pay, right?
Well, they will be referred, so they're not paying to us.
That's what I'm saying, but if you refer them, so just to make it clear that when we signpost or refer them to either a psychiatrist,
to the community mental health team,
or a counsellor or whatever, then they would have to pay. Right?
So I think I want to I want to help you guys here now. Now, in terms of that, you can have meetings with community mental health team, then look for a way forward, because they also have a duty to work with anyone who may be experiencing mental health difficulties. So in our community, so what you are trying to say is that if you are a parent, you have a young person who may be experiencing issues with peer pressure, which is putting pressure on them, they become very isolated, very emotional, they're not listening, you know, you find it difficult to manage them. They kind of have these old behaviors. You can't put your hands on it. You don't know what you do to do. If they contact your organization, you are there to help them.
Of course.
If you are a parent who have been drinking, experiencing difficulties, you know, managing yourself with alcohol, domestic violence, separation. You know, separation. And one area I think that maybe will help in terms of our community as well is gambling. Now, a lot of parents have done a program on gambling, and most people didn't want to show their face because they said their partners will find them, or they said they don't want to see their face, they can only talk, and when they talk they put their hands to one side so that their voice starts to so their voice. And a lot of them are suffering. I mean, I came a situation where this man was saying he was sleeping in buses for 3 months. You know, he feel embarrassed that he gambled with his income, with his wages, and then he couldn't go home. Then he have to run from his family. You know, and you can imagine the effect on him. So people like that, can they contact your team? And because it become, they are suffering, they are experiencing.
Tell him to come our way.
Yeah, I mean,
tell him to come our way.
There are serious emotional difficulties in the community. Right. You know, some are bereavement, some are issues with alcohol, whereby parents, children see them going overboard, which has affected their mental health. You know, argument, anger. So people with anger issues. Is that areas you look?
Of course it is. Yeah, anger.
You know,
they experience every single day.
Is anger something, Cindy? Is anger something that, if it's overboard, that needs to be looked at, or low, it doesn't? I mean, can you tell us a little bit about anger and how maybe your organization will be able to support the area of work?
The thing is, with anger, it's, you know, what the thing with talking and counseling people is, you always want to get to the underlying issues of why they're behaving in that way, or why they're going through that emotional distress. So if someone is getting extra angry or angry all the time, then what is it that is making them that angry? What's happened? So this is where you kind of spend time with them, and that's why talking therapy helps as well, because you're working with them to try to help them to resolve or understand why they're getting so angry all the time. So yeah, that's an area that we can as well.
Yeah, I mean, I have someone called John Amwa Abuaje, and he's saying depression hurts. You know, it hurts. You know, and living with someone with depression, could be. So you are not only talking about people who may be experiencing the difficulties, but also a partner, a family member who knows someone is.
Absolutely.
They could contact you and make a referral for them.
Absolutely.
You know.
And even you know, the support group is just a space just to talk, to express your difficulties. You know, we are a group of people. We all sit down and we share ideas. We support each other. That is what the support. So you don't have to live in silence on your own. You can come in and then we can all share it together. Offload that responsibility to someone else. Let's do it together. You know, as he said, depression does hurt, and especially if you don't know what to do about it. That is what we hear. People to you know, come and speak with us, come to the support group, come to the inauguration, and let's all discuss it and find a way forward.
Yes, I mean, and then also what Beatrice is saying. Beatrice made a comment here that by educating our community that mental health is an illness.
Absolutely, which is what I said earlier. It is an illness. It's like having diabetes. So we need to not shelve it and think, oh, this person is either crazy or it's going to embarrass us as a family. Let's just hide it. No, we need to deal with it because they're ill. And like Stella said, it can happen to anyone, anytime. You know, all the different experiences we go through in life, our stresses, our anxieties can get us, you know, can bring mental health on. You know, it's just something that goes on in your mind. And nobody, you know, I know there's psychiatrists who medicate you, but really and truly, sometimes you don't know why that person's behaving that way.
What
all you have to do is try and support them.
Cindy, what about people who may have young people with low self-esteem and confidence level, who maybe affect them in terms of their participation in the community or interaction with their parents?
You see, again, there's always like support groups. I know in this country there's support groups for all these areas. And again, I've counseled children, I've counseled young adults, so kids actually can be counseled as well. And I know what you're saying, because even with like exams or school, you know, you're competing with your friends, you know, they're showing you all their high marks and you don't feel you're capable, so that will stress you out, that will cause you anxiety, that will cause you depression. So these are areas that affect them as well.
And also in our community, the Black and Afro-Caribbean community, and lots of the parents focus a lot on work, and the children are left. So they form their own way of coping with things. And we need to be aware, as Cindy said earlier, the signs and symptoms that the children exhibit at home, so we can, you know, seek help or intervene before you get to the situation where, you know, it's difficult to do anything apart from hospitalization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So do you plan to do presentations maybe in churches and in the mosques and areas like that as well, or how do people reach you? You know.
So what we've started is we started going to a few churches. We've been to my church, Goodway Apostolic Church. We're going to Destiny Apostolic Church. We've got a couple of churches lined up because that's where most of the kids and the mothers, parents, most of them are. So that's our target at the moment. So we're trying to reach churches. So we'll give our numbers out again if anybody feels like we need to come to their church and obviously give a presentation of how kids deal with mini mental health or whatever areas that they're finding difficulty in. We'll be happy to do so. But that's the area we're targeting churches at the moment.
Yesterday, a gentleman had the mother's funeral in Broadwater Farm.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. He gave us the platform to be able to raise a little bit of awareness to let people know about the event. You know, we need to be able to be given the platform to let people know. You know, we're not setting up the charity for the fun of it. We're not setting up the charity to make money. There is no money in this.
Yeah.
The money is coming from our own hard work. You know, we're hoping to get some funding from somewhere. People will support us. We need donors. We need supporters. We need to be able to move this vision forward. So we need people to embrace this because it concerns all of us. It concerns our community. Somebody needs to bring that idea for everybody else to hold on to it. We have brought the idea. We've gotten this far, and we need everybody else to come on board. One person can do it. It's to do with all of us, and we need to be united. That's why I like Ghana back home, because they talk about all other, you know, projects working together. We have to be united and work together to serve the community, because that is the overall purpose of why we are here, to serve our community.
Also, we want to thank and acknowledge the Bessel team. We've got a whole lot of people behind us. It's not just us. We've got DJ Francis, we've got Auntie Christabel, Auntie Hilda, and her husband Aziz, Andy, George. So, yeah, Dr. Attad. So there's a huge, there's loads of people behind us. So it's not just us three. And we're open to, you know, get loads of people with different experiences on board, because again, it affects every single person in our community.
And we'd like to say thank you to Omega House, Joe, to yourself, to Madam Beatrice, and our lovely Bishop, Archbishop Rimpomanso. We're so grateful that we've all embraced this project. And funny enough, everybody that we talk about the project, they do just embrace the project straight away. Our lovely lady.
Yeah, Sister Danswa.
Wonderful.
Okay. So now, I mean,
sexy.
If someone wants to contact you, can you give out your details again?
Sure.
And also your the fun day that is coming up in terms of the inauguration that you are doing. How, on what day? I think you can tell them.
26th. So first of all, the management team, DJ Francis, myself, Stella, and Auntie Hilda, we're running the fun day event, which is at Glade Small Community School, N15. Sorry, the rest of the postcodes on here. N15 6UY. It's a family fun day for both adults and children. It's £10 for children, £20 for adults. You can find the tickets again on eventbrite.co.uk. Okay, and also you can find some of the tickets at the door. So we appreciate, if you're not able to ascertain the internet, please come to the door and the tickets will be available for you. So DJ Francis will be our DJ. He will be the MC for the night. Again, there will be a selection of professionals. Dr. Attad and his team, Cindy and her team will be there. The teachers also will be there, having all these talks about mental health. Again, it's stress, depression, anxiety, anger, a whole lot of issues. So don't be afraid about coming to listen about what mental health is about. Just come and have a fun day with food, drinks, hot food, and everything else, and ourselves, and grime stuff as well.
On that day, it will help maybe people to also understand signs of mental health.
Of course.
And, you know, whereby maybe their partner or a family member or their children may be experiencing that, or a friend, which they will be able to help them as well.
Right, Dr. Tad has actually said that he's going to go from the basic to talk about what is mental health, what is poor sleep, what are the signs and symptoms, how do you deal with it, what helps, what doesn't help. He is going to start from the bottom up. And you know, we have to realize that in the Afro-Caribbean background that these are people who are not from our community. They are not from Black and ethnic minority community, but they've dedicated their special time to support us as well as take us to Ghana to improve our mental health. So if we've got people setting up to help us and we don't come and embrace it, they come on the day and you know, we are not present to listen to what they have to give to us, then where are we going? This is our community. This is for all of us. I think we should all, even if the parents don't want to come, please let's bring the children. Let's talk to the children about crime, you know, knife crimes, you know, gun crimes, you know, bullying and harassment.
Talk about the age group as well, because you're talking about children, and some parents may think, you know, what age children you know do we take there or go there with?
Go from 0 to 18. You know, it's a family fun day. There is popcorn machine, candy floss machine, hot dog machine. You know, there's so many activities. There's football, there's basketball, there's whole sports hall is for the children. And they've got their own DJs playing their own kind of music, and they've got people who are going to be looking after the children while the adults get some education.
Yes.
Education is power.
Also, we will have the Ghana Bakope team will be there to explain what they're doing. Also, the Ghana and the knife crime team will also be there. The Miss Ghana is about time will also be there. The Miss Ghana UK Foundation team. All these networks are supporting.
So how come I'm not being invited?
You are one of our MCs. You're there already.
You don't need an invitation.
We have sent an invitation to Prince Harry Foundation. Prince Harry and the wife, when they got married, the Queen actually gave them the mental health part of the NHS.
Yes.
To focus on. We have contacted them. They apologize. They're not able to come to the inauguration. However, they are with us.
Okay, thank you. That is very good.
Idris Alba might be there. Yeah, we sent him a letter.
Do you? I mean, I just gonna. If you can all say the last word before we close off. I will start off with you. You know.
I want to say thank you to all the listeners, everybody who took their time to listen to us. What I would like to say is we have gone a long way to bring this foundation this far. We cannot do it alone. We need to do it together. We need support. We need funding. We need direction. We need knowledge. Everybody come on board to support our community. Mental health can happen to you and it can happen to me. And mental health is an illness just like any other illness. So we should not be ashamed of it. Thank you.
I just want to say I'm glad to be part of this project, this foundation. I just feel it's a really, really good cause. And mental health, we need to remove this stigma about if you have mental health then there's something wrong with you. No, you're ill and we need to help you. So again, you know, speaking to the community, to people who are listening, just try and come on board and support us. If you can support us financially as well, because everything that we're going to do, we're going to build, we need money to do it. So please, if you can support us financially, we would really, really appreciate it. And God continue to bless all of you, and we just pray, you know, that your families don't suffer from mental health, but if you or anyone who is listening do suffer from mental health, please come to the inauguration. Come and hear a bit more about what mental health is about. I'll be talking about how counseling is effective, psychotherapy, and how we can support you in that way. And there'll be other professionals who will be also telling you about what they do, and you will learn from it. Even if you take one line away, you will learn something on the inauguration day. So please, if you have time, you're not doing anything, come, bring your family, friends, relatives. You're all welcome. And God bless you all. Thank you.
Amen. I don't think I should say anything further. You've said it all. All I can say is mental health suffers. We all suffer it. And then we're just hoping that you just come and experience the time of your life with this fun day. Thank you.
Thank you. Living with a mental health problem can often have an impact on our day-to-day life, making things that others might not think about a bit more difficult for you. your Bestel, we support you. We hope that you reach as many people as possible. Also those in Ghana as well. Absolutely. Where there is secrecy about mental health. And I like the bit about also working with the psychiatric team in terms of Ghana Education Service, whereby supporting them, and learning from it, to help make it a difference.
Actually, in October we've got another awareness in Kumasi, and we're going to have teaching session for the staff. The professionals here going. We're going to impact our knowledge on them, and then vice versa. They will give us their knowledge, and we'll bring it here to come and improve on our standard here as well. So it's a two-way traffic.
Yes.
We learn and they also learn.
Yeah.
One last thing that we forgot to say, that Omega House TV is going to be there.
Oh yes, and then the creation.
I totally forgot about that. Yes. And also we're back here on the 1st of May with the doctors. So I thought we would just remind our viewers that if they want to hear from the professionals themselves, they should tune in on the 1st of May. What time is it?
I mean, that one will be a question and answer session. So therefore, they will explain things more into details, and any questions they may have, they will be able to talk about it.
Thank you.
It's a very good idea. We thank you very much for this, and the community, I think, love this program. We have had a very good feedback and comments from our viewers. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. We also would like to take this opportunity to thank our technical team for all their support for this evening program. And also I would like to say that this program is sponsored by Omega House. Omega House sponsor Omega Live TV, and Omega House do a number of things. If you're doing a party, if you're doing a funeral or any occasion that you need video, photos, you need invitation cards, greeting cards, and letter. If you're a business, you need letterhead, business cards, any stationery, bookmarks, we can do it for you. Thank you, everyone, and good night. Good night, everyone. Good night. And this program is dedicated to all the people who may be experiencing mental health difficulties. Good night. Good night, everyone.